You hear these terms thrown around all the time, right? Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. Today, we're going to untangle them once and for all.
So, what is the real difference anyway? They sound like they could be the same thing, but they're not. And don't worry, we're about to break it all down with a super simple model that's going to make everything just click.
All right, first things first, let's get our mental map straight. The most important thing to get your head around is that these aren't three totally separate things. Nope, they're actually parts of a much bigger system, all nested together.
Honestly, the easiest way to picture this whole thing is to think of them like those Russian nesting dolls. You know, where each one fits neatly inside the next. So, let's start with the biggest, outermost doll. That's artificial intelligence, or AI. It's the whole big idea, the entire field of study that kicked this all off. Now, let's open that doll and go one layer deeper. Inside AI, we find machine learning. It's a specific type of AI. It's not something different. It's a specialized piece that lives inside the wider world of artificial intelligence. And finally, we get to the very center, the smallest doll. That's deep learning. It's an even more specialized part of machine learning. So you've got deep learning inside machine learning, which is inside AI. See? Simple. Okay, now that we have that layered picture in our heads, let's zoom in on that biggest layer. What exactly is artificial intelligence? Really, at its heart, AI is just this huge goal of making machines that can think and act like we do. It's all about trying to get a computer to behave in ways that feel, well, human. And what does acting human really mean? Well, it covers a ton of stuff. We're talking about things like making smart decisions, figuring out tricky problems, and automating jobs that usually need a person's touch. Here's a simple way to remember it. Just think of AI as the entire human brain, the whole shebang. Everything we can do with our minds, thinking, reasoning, acting, that's the goal of AI.
All right, let's move one layer in. We're now inside the world of AI, and we're looking at its most famous part, machine learning.
Okay, this is the game changer. With old school programming, you have to write out every single step for the computer. With machine learning, you just throw a ton of data at it and let it figure out the patterns and learn all on its own. It's a totally different way of thinking. So if AI is the whole brain, then machine learning is the part of the brain that learns from experience. You know, it's how you learn a stove is hot. Nobody programmed a rule into your head. You just gathered the data, maybe the hard way. And now let's get to that final, tiny doll in the middle, deep learning. This is where some of the coolest, most mind-blowing stuff is happening right now. It's a really specific, really powerful kind of machine learning. So what makes deep learning so special? Well, it uses something called neural networks. And these are these super complex, layered systems that are actually inspired by how the neurons in our own brains are all connected. It lets them process information in a much more powerful way. This is the magic behind some of the tech that feels like science fiction. You know, your phone recognizing your face, your smart speaker actually understanding what you said, and yeah, the incredibly complex systems that are trying to make self-driving cars reality. So to finish off our analogy, if AI is the brain and machine learning is learning from experience, then deep learning is like that process of real deep thinking, finding those subtle patterns and making connections that you wouldn't spot right away. Okay, so we've got our 3 layers defined. Now for the fun part. Let's see how they all actually work together in something you probably use every single day. But first, real quick, here's a little cheat sheet to lock it all in. AI is the big goal, mimic humans. Machine learning is how it does it, learning from data. And deep learning is the superpowered version of that, using those brain-like networks. Got it? Awesome. Let's make this totally concrete. Think about YouTube and how it always seems to know what video you want to watch next. It's not magic. It's a perfect example of these 3 layers working together. Here's how it breaks down. First, the big picture AI system has one job: figure out what to recommend to keep you watching. Second, the machine learning algorithms get to work by learning from your data, all the videos you've ever watched. It sees you like science explainers, so it learns to show you more. And third, deep learning does the really heavy lifting, analyzing the actual content of the videos and spotting super subtle patterns in how millions of people watch things. All 3 layers working as a team. And that, right there, is really the whole thing in a nutshell. AI is the grand ambition, machine learning is the main way we make it real, and deep learning is the cutting-edge tool we use to solve the absolute hardest problems.
So there you have it, a clear map of how all this incredible technology fits together. Which, makes you wonder, as we keep building these layers deeper and deeper, what's that next little doll in the center going to be? And what amazing things will it do?